Hello, and welcome to Andre's YouTube vlog for May 12th, 2012. Well, as many of you know, tomorrow's Mother's Day in America, so naturally, that will be the focus. And motherhood has actually come into the news in great focus, because, especially if any of you out there happen to have seen the latest Time magazine, it appears most people have. This issue features a 26-year-old mother named Jamie Lynn Grumet breastfeeding her 3-year-old son on the cover. This mother is an extreme advocate, shall I say, of what a technique that is known as attachment parenting, which means you have a special bed that you sleep with the child, and that you come to the baby when they're crying. Basically do all of the opposite things that my mother and father did, that a lot of people in my generation's mother and father did, that their mother and father did. The closeness to the child is important. This has stirred up a lot of controversy, considering it's intermingled with an election year, with other mother-related issues such as abortion back in the public eye, and even non-related issues such as the same-sex marriage topic, which has recently come into the fore. We're talking about human rights here, basically. Now, my opinion on this Jamie Grumet is that she has every right as an American to do what she wishes to do with her child. It's a healthy. That's not my decision to make. I hate to play devil's advocate, but it might be perfectly healthy for her. But the point I'm trying to make is not about what she's doing, but about how this is affecting her personally and how this is affecting the world. Number one, everything from her pose and her statements made on the cover and inside Time magazine indicate that there is a mild publicity angle to this, similar to a woman we know as the Octomom, Nadia Suleiman, who was very obviously out for attention and was economically motivated. I'm not sure what Jamie Grumet's motives truly are, but I don't sense they're all 100% for the benefit of children. I have this sense that this is to glorify herself to a certain degree. And that's been one of the problems I've been hearing about attachment parenting, that it creates self-centered behaviors inside the children, especially since this Jamie admitted herself that she was raised the same way until she was 6. That doesn't bode well to her particular style of parenting. But there's an important lesson to be learned here, and this is a lesson I think all mothers need to learn. Do you ignore your child every single time they cry? No. Do you go to them every time you cry? No. Again, as I've stated over and over and over and over again in my YouTube vlogs, the hardest thing to create in our lives is balance. Because one side always wants to go up, one side always tends to want to go down, and everybody's, meeting somewhere in the middle, and it all comes apart. And balance is something that, honestly, all of my life I've strove for, I've looked for, I've sought out in others, and honestly, I can't say in my own family I've ever found it. People seem to want to be locked into the stubbornness that their decisions are always the only one, and that they have the right to think for themselves, and for others, such as yourself, what to think. That's why we have so much corruption in politics and so much corruption in social orders. It all starts from the idea that one side is always got to be a little more right than the other. Now, there are all sorts of different types of mothers in this world. There are some mothers that insist that their children be very industrious at an early age and that they don't have much of a childhood. Republican ladies, very conservative attitudes about child rearing, that if they think they're special, just for being who they are, see my Mr. Rogers video for more on this, that they become subjected to a sense of entitlement. There's another school of thought that if children feel freer and that they're able to have a stronger relationship with their parents, they have a chance of having a more good-hearted nature and having a more nurturing nature, especially with young boys who are often encouraged to be more aggressive than attentive. And there's a whole third school of thought that I've heard many times, which is a very old one, very parochial. Spare the rod, spoil the child. The child does something that annoys you, or they shouldn't be doing, just smack them, or whack them, or hit them, or whatever it is you want to do. On that last one, I must say this. I think it's antiquated. I think it's inappropriate. I think it is abusive. And I think too many people, when they think of the word child discipline, think in terms of sparing the rod is spoiling the child. And that's simply not true. There are other effective ways to discipline your children than to physically hurt them. I'll always stand by that. Now, as far as those first two, attentive and less attentive parenting, there's a balance that can be taken there. And I would take politics and I would take spiritual dogma out of it completely. It's mother's instinct. Mothers have that instinct to protect their children. You either use it wisely or you don't. It's pretty simple. And I hope that when people watch videos on this Time magazine cover and think about this, they don't let dogma of a political or religious sort in any way, in any form, get in the way of their thoughts on the subject. Strange statements for Mother's Day, maybe, but that's how I feel about it, and those are my thoughts for Mother's Day this year. So, don't just think about, what you can get for Mother's Day this year from your children. Think about what you've done as a mother, and what you've contributed, and how your child's behavior is, in fact, that greatest gift to you. See you next time.